Jazmine Nicole, Miss Jazmine, and I really wanted to just come on and really talk about who I am, right? If we're gonna go on this journey together, let's get to know each other. So, let's go. So, this video is all about me just giving you some insight on who I am, sharing my story. My prayer is that you resonate with maybe the younger girl in me, or maybe you see something in me that brings something out in you. I don't know, girl, whatever happens, happens. But either way, you're going to be like, this is not a stranger that's talking to me. So let's jump in. So I'm going to start just going all the way big, okay? I grew up in Dallas, Texas, born and raised. And I was raised by my mother and my stepfather for part of my life. And then another part of my life, they separated. And so I experienced living with a single mother for the first, I would say, 5 or 6 years of my life, maybe. And then high school, senior, up until now, I have experienced both. So I know what it's like to have a stepdad. I know what it's like to go through the emotions of not having a relationship with my biological father, to having an amazing relationship with my father. Love that dude right now. And I know what it's like to experience a single mom, and I know what it's like to experience having both parents in the home. So I think that as I reflect on that now, I think that's a lot of what God allowed to happen for many reasons, but one of them is so that I can relate to other girls, other women who may be in different pockets of those seasons in their lives. So I grew up with my mom, and she's a fire starter herself. Love you, Mom. She is a woman with the hugest heart ever, and made sure that we had everything that we needed. She works like way harder than anyone that I know. And I got to see her really show up and provide for my brother and I on a really just crazy level of motherhood. In times where she didn't have it herself, somehow we all had it. And I'm grateful for that. So I was your typical girl. I was very chill. I was well behaved. I made great grades in school. I was a little bit of a perfectionist. I was very quiet unless you really knew me. And I spent most of my time hanging out with family. I wasn't the girl that really went to parties and things like that until college. And I was very sheltered at home. My mom allowed us to go to people's house that she knew really well. If she didn't know your mama, then we probably wasn't gonna be able to go. And if we did, we was going there for 2 seconds and then we had to leave. I didn't have sleepovers growing up. I didn't have people over at my house. I was what you would consider an outsider that was sometimes on the inside. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I'm gonna break it down. I wasn't in the popular group. As I mentioned, I was a little more sheltered, and I was able to go and do things. I had a car, I had friends, I had things that I got to do, things that I enjoyed. I got to shop, things like that. But I felt that I wasn't able to do a lot of the same things that the popular kids could do. And I knew them and they knew me for the most part, but I wouldn't consider myself in the popular group. I definitely wasn't that. I was one of the only black girls on the drill team, and so I was kind of known for that. And then senior year, I was the only black officer, so I think people knew me by default, if you will. We were a really close family. We watched movies every Friday night. That was like our thing. And I'm grateful for that because it shielded me from a lot of things that I wanted to get into and I wanted to do because everybody else was doing it. And now as an adult, and not even as an adult, as I grew up and I looked back and I saw some of the other things that I missed out on, I'm grateful that my mom had those parameters because there's a lot of things that I was sheltered from. And in the moment, it felt unfair, but in hindsight, it really was protection. I played soccer in fourth grade like every other kid. Quickly found out sports aren't really my thing. I was a fast runner, but I didn't really like sports. I was scared of the ball. I tried out for volleyball. I did cheerleading. I hated cheerleading with a passion. Um, I didn't really take to it. But I got to high school after we moved around a lot growing up. I've been to over 9 different schools between elementary and high school. Fortunately, I was able to attend the same high school all 4 years, and I did drill team. And that is where I blossomed. That is where your girl shined. Okay, I loved everything about dance. I was very observant, and I didn't have to be very vocal. I didn't really have a loud voice, and I struggled with that actually because I became senior lieutenant my senior year, and I had to learn how to project. Going from a girl who doesn't really talk to, or I won't say doesn't really talk. Going from a girl who isn't very loud to having to project your voice to a team of 30 plus girls, yeah, that's a lot. So um, I quickly learned. I learned how to be a leader. I learned punctuality. I learned submission. I learned order. I learned poise. I learned so many things that I still take with me this day that I am excited to also pour into the girls that I serve. My coach, former director, Alicia Wright, she is no longer with us, but the things that she put into us, y'all, I know there's not a drill team girl who does not still live by a lot of the principles that she instilled in us. And yeah, so I did drill team, loved it. It was my home away from home. And when my parents separated, my stepdad and my mom separated, I grew up with this dude. This man was like my best friend. So it wasn't just my stepdad separating from my mom. He was my father to me. I knew my biological dad, but my biological dad didn't live in the state that I grew up in. So I usually saw him once or twice a year, and I would speak to him over the phone. But my relationship with a father was with this man. And so when he and my mom separated, it was devastating for my home. And the things that it did to me, to my sibling, to my mother, it really damaged us, and it was very hard. And drill team allowed me to have something to hold on to that brought me joy and took me away from what was going on at home. I went off to junior college. I actually was one of those people that went to community college for 2 years. Well, I went there 3 years, okay. I did community college. I changed my major like 50,000 times, like everybody else does. And sis, let me tell you, the people who say you need to know where you're gonna be and follow suit with that vision, and you should know what you want to do in high school, and you just follow this one-track route and you go to school for 4 years and you graduate and everything's perfect. That's a lie. That doesn't usually happen. Most people do 4 years in a victory lab, or it takes them 6 years. It took me 6 years total. 3 years at community college, 3 years at a university. So, and I changed my major a million times, and I still made it, okay? You're gonna be okay. But that's another video. I actually am working on the content for that, because I think that's a really, really good, popular topic, especially for seniors. But going back, so I went to community college, and then I was able to transfer to Texas Tech University, Recum, in Lubbock, Texas, and I graduated with my bachelor's there. I did get my associates at the junior college, and I went on to teach for 6 years. I taught 4th grade and 2nd grade, and I absolutely loved it. I taught in Lubbock, and I taught in Dallas, Texas, and was the most amazing thing ever. It was very hard, and people ask me all the time, do you miss teaching? ... No. I loved it, but I loved it for the season. I absolutely love where I am now. I am a photographer. I am a teen girl mentor. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I serve in my church, and I have flexibility to do all the things that I believe God has called me to. And I would not trade this life for anything. It's hard out here, y'all. This entrepreneur life is hard, but I love it out here. I noticed that growing up in high school, and I would even say middle school, I did not know how to communicate my feelings, and therefore I didn't. I didn't talk about what was going on with me. I didn't have the vocabulary to even articulate that. I think that I won't even say that I wanted to. I don't know that I even wanted to talk about it. I think there were some times where I did, but I didn't have the confidence, or I didn't feel that I had a person that I could truly convey that to. So I usually kept that to myself. And I found that I also retreated. I didn't push myself in areas that I really should have and I could have. I didn't have the confidence in myself, not because someone had broken me down. I just didn't have it. I just didn't see those things within myself. It wasn't until I was in college, y'all, that I found out that I was different. Well, I won't say I found out. I accepted. I realized that I'm different and I'm not going to fit in with the super girly girls. I'm not going to fit in with the athletes. I'm somewhere in between a tomboy and a girly girl. It really just depends on the day. And that's okay. And guess what? There are people out there for me. I had friends. I made friends, y'all. I made friends that were not exactly like me, but I was still able to be confident in who I was. And that allowed me to be comfortable with being in different friend groups and accepting that because I'm unique, because of the way God made me, I am able to but I am able to fit in different places, and there's a space for me in those places, and that is okay, and there's beauty in that, right? And so I was a teacher before I truly found my voice, being able to speak up for myself when I don't like something, to friends, to superiors, to my family, learning how to set boundaries, learning how to effectively communicate. Those things really were things that I never really paid attention to. But when I started dating my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, I really saw how jacked up I was in those areas. And I'm not saying that you have to be perfect and you have to have it all figured out before you start dating or before you become an adult. But I am saying that there are some things that along our journey growing up that we just miss. There are things that we don't learn. And I'm here to help you with some of those things, y'all. If you would just lean in, if you would just trust me, I'm here to help you. If you haven't caught on by now, I am a woman of faith, and so you're going to get these scriptures, okay? You're going to get them. Now, what you do with them, that's your business, but you're going to get them, okay? And I have found my identity in Christ, and I am more than happy. I'm so passionate about helping you find yours and walking in what it means to be a modern woman of God. You can still be yourself. You can still enjoy things and be in this world, but not be of this world, like the Bible tells us. So God has put on my heart to just impart into teen girls. And so this journey together is just me sharing the nuggets that I wish someone had shared with me. It is me encouraging you, pushing you along the way, and allowing you to get to know me, and also some things that are just revelatory as I work with teen girls, as I learn more things about the culture and how that impacts y'all. That's going to be wisdom that I share with you on our journey. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can follow me on Instagram at Jazmine Nicole with no I Mentors. That's also the YouTube page, and you can subscribe below. I will be releasing videos once a week, and yeah, I hope that you are encouraged. I hope that you know, girl, that you are loved. I hope you know that you are powerful, and your voice has power. You matter, and everything about you is special because God made you that way. Until next time, girl. Peace.